the most unique.
Alright, bro, let's get into this shit, bro. Zion Williamson is a sad case right now. Back then, like in high school, I thought that nigga gonna be like the next LeBron James. A lot of niggas did. Right now, he's the next Big Mac specialist. You seen the motherfuckers come over with a double Big Mac? You gotta be the fattest nigga in history to eat a double Big Mac. Like what?
Athlete I've
I know this
coached
on
it
topic,
to.
but God,
Zion, yes, sir! A human highlight reel. A force that defies the laws of physics. An athletic marvel that bewilders even the brightest sports scientists.
He won the Wooden Award, scored 81 points in the ACC tournament, most by a freshman.
And he gave all this NBA shit up for Mariah Mills. A fell off Mariah Mills with a BBL that's hanging from right here to the US to Egypt, and he gave it up for Mariah Mills and a fucking 10-piece from fucking McDonald's or KFC.
ACC history, and now is making that walk to start his professional career.
Five-star prospect, the National College Player of the Year as a freshman, and the Atlantic Coast Conference Athlete of the Year and Tournament MVP. The consensus #1 overall pick by a landslide. Nobody had this much confidence on a player to be the guaranteed first pick since LeBron James in 2003. For years, the media was all over him. It was Zion this, Zion that. His name was all over the news. Even my friends who don't watch basketball knew his name. Zion Williamson was deemed the most anticipated athlete across all sports because nobody has seen anything like him before. At 6'6", nearly 300 pounds, the dude moved like a freight train, but somehow was just as agile and nimble, able to contort his body like a guard, but finish like a center. It wasn't just his brute strength and power, he had the handles and skills to go along with it, compact in that unstoppable force of a body. Sadly, Zion's NBA career is not going how we all thought it would. While we still see flashes of what makes him so special, there's a lot of things holding him back.
That nigga big as fuck. Oh my, I know I'm not the slimmest nigga in the world, but goddamn, I'm not that fucking big.
We still see flashes of what makes him so special.
Like that nigga tired as fuck after that shit.
There's a lot of things holding him back, and as the years went by, he's becoming less and less relevant. In fact, he's become a meme now. Some of his escapades are ridiculous, and I feel like nobody even takes him seriously anymore. As he watches his peers leap ahead of him, Zion has fallen behind. You add on, there's a rift between him and the Pelicans organization, which I'll dive into later in this video. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today, let's take a look at the downfall of a once-in-a-generation athlete.
Oh, you're not once in a generation no fucking more. That shit dead.
Despite Zion's gargantuan size, prior to coming to the NBA, he didn't really suffer any debilitating injuries. This isn't like a Greg Oden situation, who everyone knew had a bad history of knee problems prior to coming to the NBA. Zion's only notable injury was, you just saw it. It was a freak accident. He suffered a knee sprain because his foot burst through his Nike sneakers, and it caused him to slip. Y'all remember this? Nike's stock market value dropped by over $1 billion after this incident. It's crazy how this even happened. It just shows the force that Zion moves with. The thing is, when he returned, he was better than ever. In fact, in his first game back, he scored 29 points on 13 for 13 shooting. It was the best shooting performance in the history of Duke, and the history of the ACC tournament. So, I'd say he recovered quite well. As he entered the NBA draft, that injury just flew past everyone's minds. As you all know, the major concern of him back then, and even today, is his weight.
I can't say them injuries, bro, ain't no fucking joke, bro. When I was in college playing football, bro, I had got an ankle injury in my left ankle, bro, and my shit was fucked for like a minute. I think I say for like the rest of the year. So that would be like for 6 months, bro. I came home for break, my shit was fucked. I had to wake up and walk that shit off, literally, for me to just be right for the whole day to walk.
Entered the NBA in 2019, listed at 284 pounds. At that time, that was the second heaviest listed weight behind only Boban Marjanovic, who's 7'3". As a 6'6" 19-year-old, that's freaking insane. Zion he was too heavy for his body to withstand the wear and tear of the NBA. The first red flag occurred before the season even started. The Pelicans released a statement that Zion would undergo surgery to repair a torn meniscus. But what torn meniscus? We never saw him get injured. It wasn't any specific play or possession that caused it. It was a gradual progression through the course of multiple workouts that caused him to develop severe knee soreness, which led to this injury. This was very alarming, because this time it wasn't a freak accident. When you tear a ligament like this, it means your knees can't carry the burden of your body. On the bright side, Zion made a full recovery, and in his second season, his game truly came together. That explosiveness and agility in his frame is unheard of, and he stormed through the season. Zion registered the 8th highest points per game on the 8th best field goal percentage. He captivated the audience and fans were in awe of him. This is the Zion we all imagined he could be, and for a while, he was living up to those gigantic expectations. Sadly, it would be short-lived. Over the summer, he suffered
I forgot who it was that got drafted to the Sixers. I forgot who it was. It was Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and who else was it, bro? I forgot his name. Markelle Fultz. I thought Markelle Fultz was gonna be that nigga, boy. But that nigga let me down. I don't know what the fuck that nigga at. He might be overseas right now.
A Jones fracture on his foot, and it forced him to get surgery. The Pelicans were optimistic he could return in 2 or 3 months. That's the recovery time for the average player. But Zion is not the average player. A Jones fracture on a guy as heavy as he is, that's very concerning. You always gotta be cautious, so the team kept pushing back his timetable to return. It also wasn't healing properly, and eventually that meant he'd be out the entire season. At this point, it's getting a bit dicey. 3 seasons in, and Zion has missed significant time, with many of his supporters believing he needed to lose weight to put less pressure on his joints and feet. It makes sense, right? But Zion surprisingly gained weight since entering the NBA, according to his former trainer who took a jab at the Pelicans. Now it got serious. The team started to stress the importance of him to lose weight, but it's hard to get through to him. It's really hard to get rid of bad eating habits that's been there his entire life.
Wait, that's a real commercial?
Curious. The team started to stress the importance of him to lose weight, but it's hard to get through to him. It's really hard to get rid of bad eating habits that's been there his entire life. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate too. Regardless, even after sitting out an entire season, the Pelicans still felt comfortable enough to throw him the bag. In the summer of 2022, Zion signed a colossal contract extension, worth nearly $200 million. It was a gamble, but one they had to take. Even with all his injuries and weight problems keeping him off the court, he is their franchise player. Or at least he's the only hope the franchise has of becoming relevant. Since then, he's had even more injury problems, like, his hamstring blew up, his knees were still experiencing pain. It's a never-ending cycle of rehab and recovery for Zion, who missed the bulk of another season. And that's when the tension started to build. According to this article by The Athletic, the final 3 years of his contract are not guaranteed anymore, because he missed more than 22 games in the 2022-23 season. If they wanted to, the Pelicans can waive him as early as 2024 and not have his salary count towards the cap. Because of this, they hold all the cards. I'm sure when Zion signed this deal, he knew the consequences. He knew he had to work on rehabbing to recover and get back to playing. Perhaps the Pelicans believed if Zion was at risk of losing money, he would try harder to get into better shape and return to the court. It's been a struggle, and old habits die hard. It makes this giant contract seem more manageable and way less risky for the Pelicans. If all that criteria was not included, it would probably be the worst contract in the league, just because of how many games he's missed.
Yeah.
This is why, in recent times, Zion has expressed his discontent with the organization. It mainly has to do with his
But you can't blame the organization for that shit, because how would you feel if you signed a nigga for that fuck 200 fucking million? That nigga hasn't played a whole season. Not even made it past the whole season without being injured.
injury management and all the contract stipulations he's not qualifying for.
And plus
It's
he get
kind
fat
of a
as fuck,
conflict
too?
of interest. Zion wants to play to meet his contract criteria, but the Pelicans need him to rest to maintain his health, but also want him to play because they need to win. It's a big mess. They've also butted heads when discussing his diet and program to get back into game shape, as this is still the biggest concern.
Bro.
Nowadays, the media has been piling on Zion for still being out of shape. I mean, if you see the news about Zion today versus Zion a few years back, it's a world of difference. He was once treated almost like a divine godlike figure, a once-in-a-generation athlete with all the talent and potential in the world. Now, everyone is clowning him. Not just for his weight, but his escapades with, an adult actress and OnlyFans model. I'm sure you guys know the story there. Plus, even when he does play, he hasn't gotten much better compared to his rookie season. There used to be comparisons to Charles Barkley, but Zion is nowhere near the rebounder Chuck was. In fact, it's quite concerning how bad of a rebounder he is. With his wide frame and jumping ability, you expect him to be better. No one's really questioned his talent before, but with all the years of rehab and sitting out, that has stunted his progress. What does the future look like for Zion? Well, on a positive note, he hasn't been missing that many games this year. The Pelicans have set a new schedule for his injury management, and it's been working so far. It shows that they're still committed to having him as a future of this franchise, because honestly, they don't have a choice. They got lucky with just a 6% chance of getting the #1 pick to get him. It was a blessing. The greatest prospect in years landed in their laps, yet they have nothing to show for it. No deep playoff runs, not many winning seasons, and now surrounded by media drama and trade rumors. It's too early to give up on him, but these days, a player can request a trade and sit out until it happens. So if Zion is not happy here, the Pelicans won't have a choice. They have the leverage, but Zion's value is not as high as it used to be.
Yeah.
It's not all bad though, because they're not a bad team. And progress is being made, slowly. He's feeling better now and more enthusiastic than he's ever been.
What does it mean now that you learned that the crowd was really behind you with the pregame introduction? What does it mean that you still got that good home support?
It means a lot. I've said it over the years. Drew Brees and a bunch of other New Orleans guys that were here before me said the same thing. If you love the city, which I very much do, it'll love you back. So to the city, to the fans, thank you. I'm going to do my best not to let y'all down.
It's too late, buddy.
Anyway, that's all folks. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and of course, as always, I'll see you next time.
Yeah. That shit need to be studied how the fuck he fumbled that shit, but yeah. Alright, how long I been like? Yeah. Let me see. Bitch, keep update. So yeah. How many videos did I fucking do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let me see. I want to watch